Good evening, Speed Gaming, and welcome to another quarterfinal match in the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Challenge Cup 2020. I'm Leslie Pro, and I will be joining you this evening. Now, to start, as raikourider was the better seed, as the number 2 seed in the Challenge Cup, he had the option to either select a flag set or defer to his opponent, Charlieboy, for Game 2. He opted for the latter and deferred to Charlieboy for Game 2. As a result, Charlie chose Group Flag 2 without end cards. So, your hammers are still going to break locks. That puts more value on taking on the Hammer Bros. We will get things going in a few moments, as one of our runners had to step away for a moment. No big deal, no problemo. So how is everybody tonight? Not this time, Trenton, although that would be an interesting randomizer category. That is a category that raikourider has run in this game in the past. All right, we are just about ready to get going. Chat, what world are we starting with? 1 through 7. I see a 4. I'm going to say 7. I have a reason for that I don't want to jinx, but I'll explain later on. And we're off. We are starting in the desert, World 2, with 2 forts. Raiko thought about going for one of the forts, then took a step back, opted to go into the stage. It is 5-8. Pretty challenging stage in its own right, because you've got a Lakitu that is throwing spinies at you, in addition to not being able to get much momentum, because it's not an easy stage to P-speed, and Charlie gets hit by Lakitu's cloud. We'll have to restart the level. Raiko's through clean. As Charlieboy's taking a second attempt at it, Raiko enters a fort. It's Air Forces. This time, Charlieboy gets picked off by a paratrooper, going right back at it, while Raiko gets flamed. Oh no, Charlie went down the chasm after getting the star. That was unfortunate. Charlie opts to take a different path, goes into the other fort, which is 6F2. No tail, so no fly strats here. Just has to be careful, avoid the thwomps with patience. I mean, there are speed strats you can do to get past these swamps quick, but they are very risky. There's a Starman. Charlie gets it. That'll help. Strike goes through to Boom Boom on Air Force. Charlieboy through to Boom Boom in Ice Fort. Charlie took a hit, but gets through. While Raiko gets through clean, we will not know what that does until we get over to scroll the screen. Well, 6F2, it turns out, was not required as there is a lock there. The quicksand level is 4-3. Interesting level, which starts with 2 hammer bros and you go underground. For speedrunning wise, this is a good level to learn P-speed strats. Ooh, nice attempt at ducking under the Lakitu cloud, but hits a bomb instead. That was a very tight window that he went for. But anyway, he is through 5-8 and will now be taking on Air Force. Next level for Raiko's side is 4-2, this time with a cheat sheet. That seems awfully familiar. Two hits on Boom Boom and 3 for Charlieboy. He's out of the Air Force. Raiko takes the 5-up, 5-star Frog Splash. Charlie has a choice of route, takes the same one as Raiko, will also go into 4-3. While Raiko is now taking on Sledge Bros, that Earthquaking is very strong. Gets a 1-up out of one of the blocks. Now, in the vanilla game, there are no blocks in World 2, so you don't really learn where the power-ups are as a result of that, but they're still there in the coding. Charlie gonna have to be careful towards the end of World... Oh, no! Takes a death landing on the spiny Koopa. Even though it was inverted, you can't do that. Raiko out of World 1 with a 1 grab at 420. Insert obligatory joke. Next World, chat. No, I'm just gonna say World 1. Meanwhile, Charlie's in 3-1. As a result of that death, has to be careful, so guiding the blooper away, gets through. That's an anchor. That is a wild card, so we don't know what that's gonna do until it gets used. Meanwhile, Raiko's working through the pipe maze. Plays the first Piranha stage. Now that pause there by Raiko was to change the cycle of the Munchers. Those Munchers are on a global timer that continues to run even though the game is paused, while Charlieboy gets a well-timed 5-star Frog Splash to get back to 5 lives. And up to 6 with that 1-up mushroom. Raiko's found the path. There are 2 forts in the way. Raiko goes to the left, finds 3F1. Are we going to see a door 3 skip here? Nope, not from Raiko anyway. He's going for door 5, which does have a power-up. And it's a super mushroom. While Charlieboy's in the airship. And Raiko taking full advantage of that power-up respawning. And Morton, being a one-hitter, gets Charlieboy out of World 1 at a time of 6:19. Now Raiko continues on to the Navy stage. Sailing the 7 seas. All that fresh air. And with that, the Navy stage is done. Charlie opting to put the first piranha to sleep. Not a bad move. Raiko uses a Starman, gets a Starman. I got one name for that, the game knows. Now, Charlieboy is opting to play the Navy stage first. Not a bad strategy. However, it's 3F1 that busts the lock here. Ludwig, two-hitter. And Raiko's got the wand at about 8. Charlie Juice got the bad news about... Well, he had to play that fort anyways. It's not like it's an extra fort. It just wasn't the right fort for progression. Whoa, that was gutsy to run past that long. Now we're in World 5, and look at this mess. 5F1 and another fort right following. That star will help Raiko get up to P-speed if he's able to, but if not, it'll help him get through the area clean as Charlie is about to get a star. That didn't build a bridge, but this is going to be the one that does it. 7F2 Piranha Fort. Arguably what some would call your favorite stage in this rando if you're a masochist. Yeah, this stage is not fun due to all the piranhas that just get in the way, slow you down. Raiko, not able to get P-speed through the Tunnel of Love, is now going to have to wait out these cycles to progress. While Charlie, whoa, Moonshoes jumped by Ludwig, but Charlie manages to survive it and is out of there at 9:53. So Raiko's through the first part, now has to get past this part. A bit of trouble there, but is through clean. On to Boom Boom. The key with 7F2 is to just survive it, because a death in this level is about as costly as dying in an auto-scroller. That will build a bridge to get over to the other side, and it looks like the play is going to be either for the pipe or the tower, and I'm not sure which. Is Raiko? Oh no! Atlantis, the lost auto-scroller. Preface it like this. There are 9 beta stages that can appear in these flags. This is the one that is an auto-scroller. The other auto-scroller that's still in this rando is 5-9, because 5-9, well, they tried to test it without auto-scrolling, and that stage just didn't function, as Charlieboy now enters 7F2. The important thing with these auto-scrolling levels is, well, it's quite simply, don't die. Because they are pretty unhealthy time losses, and like a death here, be about a couple of minutes. Charlie gets through 7F2 cleaner and quicker than Raiko. This could cut into Raiko's lead, which is currently 1 full Atlantis. Charlie is stopping at a Toad House for a power-up. Can't say I blame him. Because without a cloud, Charlie, like Raiko, is going to have to play this. Well, not playing the tower the right option, as Raiko's out of World 5, is rather on his way out of World 5. I am getting ahead of myself. My apologies. How many hits for Roy? Not one, not two. The star gets away from Charlieboy. That's unfortunate, as Roy's got 4 hits today. 13-19 out of 5. That auto-scroller really lengthened the world by a... Oh no, Charlie! Towards the end! Ow! That hurts. You hate to see that happen. And the reward is an anchor. That's an interesting item, as that serves as a wild card that can be just about anything. And we've got 2 forts, and it's a music box. That's not a terrible thing to have, as Raiko's in 7-3. Rise out of 7-3. Charlieboy, meanwhile, looking to finish Atlantis, and does. You gotta be careful on that pipe entry, because if you do it too soon, you can get crushed by the edge of the screen, and quite frankly, that would be a horrible way to go. Meanwhile, Raiko's in Mortar Mortarway, and there's an angry sun. Loses the tail to get P-Speed, misses the note block, but gets it going. Goes for the power-up Raiko does. That took some time, but since it was a Starman, probably worth it. And through. Well, Charlie gets a P-Wing. And the first fort in World 4 is 6F1. No shenanigans here. No mushroom means Mario's jump height is not going to be pixel perfect. And no power-up means you're not running on the spikes at all. Ooh, unfortunate timing for Raiko with that star. Gonna have to fight this Boom Boom without, as Charlie's about to enter the World 5 airship. Or rather, World 6 airship, excuse me. End of World 5, World 6 airship. Y'all know what I meant. Right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That first fort built the bridge, and Raiko's already on the airship, which, hey, it's World 4's airship, but without the annoying auto-scroll. Charlie's out of the Sky World at 1654. That Atlantis death was pretty costly, suffice to say. Uh-oh, thick Koopaling, but only a one-hitter. Talk about a glass cannon. So for the worlds left, we got 1, 2, and 6. What are we getting, chat? All I'll say about that one is it's not Yoshi. And another anchor, so that is yet another music box. And to start us off with World 3 is 7-8 with an angry sun. This Piranha Alley's opening can be quite daunting and disgusting. But there's also a power-up down this pipe. And what is it? It is 3 1-ups. That is probably not what Raiko wanted to see there. There's a power-up that spawned from there. Could have been anything. Could have even been a hammer suit. And it's unfortunate there wasn't such a power-up in that pipe because raikourider now enters the abandoned fort, or Fort Knox, small, falls into the lava, but that might be for accessing inventory. Oh, yep, it was, and it was for the P-Wing. That was actually much faster than going down the pipe and doing all that power-up nonsense anyway, because you have to fly to beat this level. So that 100 coin find was definitely worth it. Charlieboy's clear of 2-1, and after this next fort, 6F1 will be able to go back and finish off World 4. That is a gutsy power-up grab there, as Charlieboy demonstrates for us that that block height is indeed pixel perfect. I was not making that up. Charlie not stopping to check any of the first 2 blocks, only checks the last one. Can't say I blame them because I'd be feeling behind at this point too. All the pipes in one central area. This World 3 is, well, somewhat free. Charlie's on the right track, just have to clear a couple hammer bros out. Gets a cloud. One that I don't believe Raiko got, so that could come into play, and here comes another hammer bro to challenge Charlieboy, who takes care of business without batting an eyelash, and a hammer. Now, with this flag set, locks can still be broken. That is 2 items that Raiko did not get in World 4, so that could help, and Raiko takes a death in carpet fort. Well, actually, no, Raiko did get a cloud, but not the hammer. So I will correct myself. And with that, Charlie's out of World 4. Now for the elevator part of 6F3. Now this Boom Boom room is one you really want to take care of Boom Boom quick, because if he gets going here, he gets nasty in a hurry. As scary as that is normally, once Boom Boom starts jumping around in that mess, all sorts of caroms and ricochets come into play. That is the World 1 fort to close out World 3. And at the end, Wendy O. Koopa, which those rings can be the bane of every rando runner and vanilla runner's existence in this game. And Wendy's not earthquaking, so that's going to make stun locking harder as it's a 4-hit Wendy O. Oh boy, that's not easy to contend with. So we have 1 or 6 remaining. It's 50-50, a coin flip. Charlie entering 7F1 small. This is the fort needed to break the correct lock to access the pipe. There might have been a lock on the other end that if so, Charlie can take advantage of using the hammer to skip playing an extra fort. It's grassland, and I'm pretty sure that's World 1 fort down there. We got a boss bass sighting in 2-3. Heads up, that fish is hungry. Raiko opting for the P-switch strat. So knowing the all P-switches route for this game, serving Raiko well in that situation. And Raiko finding 5-9 and opting to pay the fine to get it the cloud. Well, I called it. That is World 1 fort. You can fly here to get an item, and with the Tanuki tail, Raiko's going to do just that, as that is faster to get out of 1 fort compared to fighting Boom Boom. It's a Starman as the reward. Only problem is, doing so doesn't break the lock, so that's why World 1 fort is never required for progression in this rando. Ever get that sinking feeling? Because that's what 3-8 does. And thankfully, Boss Bass isn't home. Meanwhile, Charlieboy is taking on a coin ship, takes care of business, and gets a cloud. Meanwhile, on the other side, Raiko into 8-2. So Raiko wound up playing an extra fort. Carpet fort being not required might be costly for Raiko. Charlie's through World 3 faster than Raiko, closing the gap as Raiko gets a P-Wing from the World 1 Hammer Bro, and it's the World 5 airship. Careful those rings, Charlie. That was close, but Charlie is through World 6. Interesting story, King. Do tell me more. And Charlie's gonna skip 3 levels by destroying the lock. Where did the airship land? Oh, there's so many things that can be said about that one, but I'm not going to go there because times and places, folks. Times and places. Raiko entering 3-2. Now, here's a thing you might not know about this game. Did you know that with that vanilla star there, you can change stars to a certain point? That block is also a star, but Raiko opting not to open it, just gonna ride the lift. Oop, that Cheep Cheep jumped up and got him. Those are vanilla Cheep Cheeps, by the way, while Charlie's taking the faster, riskier strat through 8-2. Going for the big jump. Nope, opting for one of the two nope blocks. That's perfectly okay. However you get through it. Raiko taking a star into this hammer bro fight. Good thing he did, because Fire Bro's in water, while small is gonna give even the best of our runners fits. And Raiko finds himself in 5F2. There's a trick to 5F2 worth knowing. I call this the keep moving fort, and the good 6 years before Super Mario Bros. 2 Yoshi's Island was released, while 7 oh, Charlieboy taking a death! That hurts. Looking to see what power-up to use, goes for the Tanuki suit. Now, the only ship we have not seen, I believe, is the World 7 airship. Raiko going straight for the pipe blind without scrolling the screen. I'd say worked out about the same. But taking a death. So that world won for Charlieboy by trimming 3 stages by use of the hammer has cut into Raiko's lead considerably as Raiko takes another death, this time in 7-6. Or rather 6-7, and it's in its vanilla location. Smart use of the cloud there by Charlieboy to continue onward. And try and make some ground up. Still got time, because we got a little old saying when it comes to Randomizer. It's not over until there's a dot done in the IRC. And now we got ourselves a treat for you folks. The 9th of our beta stages, the World 1-6 beta. This one was added in a recent update by Fred Coughlin after he added collision to the goal area, which is why this stage wasn't used prior. Excuse me. Would you look at this? Charlieboy's also in the 1-6 beta. We got a race, folks. All of a sudden, Charlieboy is about a half a stage behind raikourider, who's played much cleaner in these last world or two. The big difference here is Charlieboy fought a couple extra Hammer Bros, got a couple extra resources that Raiko did not. Meanwhile, Raiko's in a bit of a spot. Might want to do a slide jump here because... well, because this enemy set looks brutal, and Charlieboy is in the same level. Charlie doesn't get the jump, gets hit, and gets caught by the mini blooper! He was almost out of there, too! Charlie opting to play the other level now. That's 7-7, the running of on the Muncher level, where a Starman combo is hard required. Raiko first into the World 7 airship. I will ask this now, chat. 0 through 4, how many bridges will we see? Lately, the numbers have been low, but I'm going to go with a trend break and go with 2. I think Raiko mistimed that landing just a little bit. Oh, we've got a shrimp that came to play. 4-hitter, and at 33-31, Raiko's on his way to World 8, but Charlieboy really not far behind right now. We got ourselves a race. Got one pipe to start the world and both action scene panels on this first screen, plus a hand stage. And speaking of hands, Raiko gets grabbed by 7-6 and he doesn't have a power-up. So he cannot clip it. Gonna nope out of this level as soon as he can, and he does. Now Raiko is going swimming in 3F2. Yeah, no kidding, because that's one where you want to have a power-up. So we have a roughly 38-second difference, according to chat. And to think, at one point, Charlieboy was down by about 4 minutes. We definitely have ourselves a race, folks. Okay, so one lock broke. There's a second lock. We have as many as 2. Raiko, what do you... oh, you're just... okay, I see what Raiko's doing. He's just letting himself get grabbed by the hand. Well, if he gets grabbed by the hand, he's just noping out. There we go. All he had was P-Wings. Interesting. And now we're in the Dark Door Maze in its vanilla world, in its vanilla position. Chat, you know what to do. And now Charlie is also in Dark Door Maze. This just got become a race all of a sudden, folks. So you don't want to go anywhere, because they still got a race after this one, because this is a best of 3. Raiko doesn't get the 1 cycle, pulls up wisely so. Is he going to go for the clip? Yep, he is. This is a clip you can only do in the NES version of Super Mario Bros. 3, as in the All-Stars version, that door gets moved back a bit, so you can't do that. Raiko out of the Dark Door Maze. This might be one of those chain reaction world. I saw one of those earlier today. That's interesting. Charlie found the path, but we have a bridge to build. Raiko's on the hand bridge. He has not found the path to Bowser. And he's going to want to go back and start playing forts ASAP. So we know the tank's not one. He's going into the fort. It's 4F2. Charlieboy enters 1 second behind. Who makes the correct calls here is going to decide this race. Rye goes back to check the pipes. So does Charlieboy. They go in 2 different pipes. And there's the bridge. Unfortunately, Charlie went down the wrong pipe. There was a second one that went there. So as a result, he's in Bowser's castle while Charlie just... Wow. It's still not over yet, though. Raiko not going for the clip. Now this is where things get dicey, as in this most recent version of the update, the fireballs are random, the lasers are random. No laser snipe there. Here comes Charlieboy, and here's Bowser. It comes down to the Bowser fight, folks. Charlie gets hit. It all depends on how this goes. Charlie, small Mario. And he's going to play the hitbox game. Raiko is not doing that. Because Bowser's hitbox is like his ego. It's in his head. Now, if Raiko gets this stomp, he wins. If this misses, then Charlie's going to take it. Down goes Bowser on Raiko's side. And down goes Bowser on Charlie's side. It comes down to a fanfare, folks. This was an incredible game 1. If this is a harbinger of things to come in this series, stay tuned. As Raiko is through. Charlie is through. Get your GGs in chat as that turned into a barn burner of a finish. Wow. Here's the SRL times. raikourider, 40:06. Charlieboy, 40:11. A 5-second difference. Oh my goodness, I do not believe it. If you had started watching from the 6th world on, then you missed a key part of the story, because at one point, Charlie was 4 minutes, 7 seconds behind by my math, heading out of World 4. After that, Charlie, with the better resources by playing extra Hammer Bros, and Raiko taking a couple of deaths, and Charlie almost brought it all the way back. Oh my goodness. We have witnessed a classic, and to think we are not done yet. I think at the end, if Charlieboy takes the faster route that was on the hand bridge, Charlieboy might have stolen that. We will be right back with game 2. Oh my goodness. If this game was anything, we may be in for a treat. Stay tuned, folks. Alrighty, folks. Good evening once again, and we are back for Game 2 of this Best of 3 series in the Super Mario Bros. Randomizer Challenge Cup. For those who missed Game 1 of the quarterfinals between raikourider and Charlieboy, after this is over, go back and watch the VOD, because that turned into a bonkers ending that was decided by a handful of seconds. And I'm Leslie Crow. Hopefully everybody's having a good Saturday night. All I know is I'm having a lot of fun with this randomizer, and I'm going to ask you this, chat. What world are we starting with, 1 through 7? Let's see. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to explain it this time. I'm going to say World 7 because earlier in the main tournament, I was on commentary for a Group 2 seed in the group stage where the world order still ruled vanilla, which is a 1 in 5,040 chance. It is also a 1 in 5,040 chance to get the same world order as last time or the reverse, which is why I am saying let's have a reverse. Let's start with 7. Remember, folks, this is bracket flags by Raiko's choice because he deferred Game 1. And with that, we are getting no end cards, and hammers only break the rocks. So hammers are only really useful in Worlds 2, 3, 4, and 6. So any hammers beyond that are just excess. And we are just about to get underway, and we are going to get an answer to what we're going to see first. We're starting with World 4 with a fort right there. And already route divergence, no, not so fast. Raiko's going right into the fort. Charlie goes into the pipe, but then makes a U-turn. As we lead off with 5F2, a fort where you keep moving, and you'll stay on cycle with the Potobos, as unfortunately Charlieboy gets roasted by one. Finds a Starman, which will help him get through the rest of the level. Won't be able to get to Boom Boom in time with that star, which is unfortunate because I do like seeing the upside down orb. And that's 3 hits, both runners clean through World 5F2. And that wasn't the correct fort, but that might have been required. We have no way of knowing that. Ooh, that might have been required based off the positioning of where they wind up. 6-2 in the vanilla game and auto-scroller, but with auto-scrolling turned off for most levels, we don't have to deal with that. Still, one of the longer levels this is, even without auto-scrolling. I think Raiko might have been looking for a 1-up there, because that's a 1-up in the vanilla game. Not the case today, as it's a fire flower. We're clean through 2. Now we've got divergence due to Hammer Brother movement. Raiko takes it down, gets a P-Wing. Charlieboy first to enter the next level, which is 7-4, another level that has its auto-scrolling turned off. Which for this level is a godsend, because this level can be a bit intimidating on your first playthrough. Especially through this mess. So Charlieboy's able to keep the Super Leaf out of 7-4. raikourider gets hit, can't get it out of the level. And oh no, Atlantis again! This is one of 2 levels that does remain auto-scrolling, unfortunately. Neither runner are able to get the Starman. It's worth noting in the first race, Charlieboy took a death in this stage. So, some of these formations are tough to go through without getting hit. And that's exactly what happened to Charlieboy there. Oh, takes a second hit! People mention how it's the boss bass that are dangerous. What about these Paragoombas? Those things can be savage at times. And Charlieboy makes that one pay for its savagery with a Koopa Shell. See, both of our runners are small, so they gotta be careful as they go through this final stretch. Charlie's through. Raiko's through with a 5-star Frog Splash, an assist to the Hammer Bro for the bounce. While Charlieboy takes a death to the Hammer Bro that Raiko fought earlier, and Charlie's having some trouble with the Hammer Bro movement, Raiko's taking the lower route through 4F1, which is, ironically enough, where it normally is. Chat, that's your cue. Bird. Power up goes Rogue on Charlie. And our next level in this long World 4 is a required 6-1, but those question blocks that normally have coins in them will have stars in them, because apparently there was a Starman combo in this level, and I never knew about it until Randomizer became a thing. Charlie takes the pipe, though, and is going to get through to the final fort of World 4. This was a triple fort World 4, and, well, let's face it, you had to play all 3 of them to get to this point, and the last one's 4F2. Raiko, on the other hand, is tied up by Hammer Bros. They're all Fire Bros, which is daunting, but doable. See Charlieboy out of 4F2. raikourider's not going to be too far behind. In fact, never mind. Game knew I was going to say something about having Fire Flower being faster and decided, nope. And in World 4, we got the World 1 airship and Larry Koopa waiting at the end. And a one-hitter! Mercifully bringing this World 1 to a close. Eight-second difference between our runners heading into the next world. What's it gonna be, chat? And we got a hammer suit heading into World 2, and 2 forts up front, and Charlie goes right for the one near start. It is the Navy stage. Raikourider not too far behind. Now we're going to have a bit of a difference here in how this level plays out. Charlieboy was able to get and keep P-Speed and fire. Raiko wasn't able to do any of those things, so Charlie's going to gain a bit of time, but both our runners made the correct call by clearing this fort. And Charlie's getting power-ups for backup. Raiko's not, so that's actually going to give Raiko some time back. Raiko's checking the pipe. This is a random power-up, but is not checking it, taking the pipe to get through the level a little bit quicker. And it's World 1 fort, which is never required in this rando's logic, but you can get an item by flying here. Charlie's already flying up. And the item today is a Tanuki suit, so an extra power-up for both our runners. And next on the docket, 5-1. There is a hidden power-up you can get here, but it is very tough to get without a P-Wing, so it's generally not worth going for. Most runners will just head up and around. And they're both through the level, about a 3-second difference. We're keeping it real close this game. As Charlie has a coin ship to contend with. Raiko, on the other hand, gets a free pass to the end. Depends on what item Charlieboy gets here as to whether that's a blessing or a curse. That's a hammer. That could be a blessing, but we've already gone through 2 of the worlds where a hammer can be used, so realistically, that could only come into play in World 3 with a double hammer strat, or in World 6, as there are 2 rocks that can be broken. That's a lot of hits. Three hits not enough. It's a 4-hitter. One next. And we're going straight down to the fort. It's 3F2. So this is going to be a fast World 1 for both runners just based off the layout. But considering how long World 4 was, about a 7-minute world, yeah, I'm pretty sure runners are happy to see one go by quickly. And our next level is the tank level. Now this is going to be an item for both runners, as it's right in the main path. So some careful platforming here, and our runners will be through to a random hammer bro at the end. It's a fire bro. As Raiko gets a cloud, those really are important in the bracket stages because you never know. Might come in handy. Charlie was probably looking for a power up there, instead gets a Starman. Raiko dancing away from the Sledge Brothers hammers, gets the star and finishes them off for another star. As we now get the World 6 airship. So it's World 1, now it's Larry Koopa's turn. Now, this flat ground, it is possible to fly up and perform the screen wrap. Unfortunately, Raiko got hit, not able to go for it. So that was roughly just a hair under 3 minutes for World 3. And now we get the pipe maze with a lock to start and a 6-8 with a boss bass, and raikourider immediately feeds the big fish a white block. Or magic block if you prefer. Now Raiko just turns on the afterburners and gets out of dodge. Which, when you consider that there's a boss bass in the level, I don't think you can blame any runner for making that decision. And we got a fort in the path, and it is the Air Force. Now, this one is a faster auto-scroller in the vanilla game, which can be quite daunting, as in your first time, you're probably going to be making jumps sooner than you're used to. But with Randomizer and auto-scroller turned off, you don't have to worry about it. You just have to make sure you make your jumps. Raiko has. And as Raiko finishes Boom Boom, Charlieboy enters Boom. Question is, what did that break? Not sure yet, as Raiko goes into another pipe. And that goes over to the correct island, but the other fort is required. Raiko's found the path. Uh-oh, Raiko stubs his toe on the nipper. While Charlieboy gets caught by the Venus fire trap as Raiko, excuse me, winds up getting caught himself, but is able to get through and get a Starman for his trouble. The next fort is 6F3 Carpet Fort. This will open the path to the end of the world. I don't think Charlieboy has seen that path yet. Raiko definitely has. And now for the elevator portion, which with those walking hot feet that aren't holding still when you're looking at them, makes things rather interesting in ways you'd wish they weren't. Charlieboy makes his move, and is through the boom boom. Now Raiko knows the path and is on the move. Charlieboy also knew the path. He might have found it while I was focused elsewhere. And the power-up is, well, that looks awfully familiar. We get the World 2 airship. And Ludwig's going to need more than 3. It's going to be a full 5 hits on Ludwig. Ludwig von Koopa came to play today, but for Raiko, not enough. Now Charlie's taking on aforementioned Koopaling Ludwig von Koopa. Gonna take 5 hits, and it's done. Got ourselves a barn burner through the first 4 worlds as Raiko's up by a very short amount as we've got Bowser rapping about liking big thwomps. And Raiko sees the news that the pipe formation in World 6 is relatively useless. Good quick shooting by Raiko. Unfortunately, not able to take him down before the boomerang was thrown. I was about to say, Raiko, that pipe's not going anywhere. So Raiko plays the fort in front of him. It's super tanks, which with fire... Well, this isn't that bad of a stage. It's just the auto-scrolling that makes it a pain in the butt. Fire makes the Koopa kill easy. Rather the boom boom kill. Charlie takes a hit, but that might have been a D-boost to get up to P speed. Raiko in the coin ship, Charlieboy taking down the super tank boom boom. And that's a hammer in that. So if Charlieboy doesn't use his hammer, he might be able to take advantage of doing a double hammer in World 3. But instead, he's opting to play the 7-3 beta, aka Green Hill Zone. And he shoots through it with ease, as raikourider clears 3-1. Both runners use hammer at the same spot. Next level is 4-6. And better look out, that is a runaway chain chomp and a fire nipper. Oh my goodness, that is where things get ugly when you throw that enemy into the mix. Honestly surprised that neither runner has... Oh, I was about to say, I was surprised nobody changed the enemy layout of that level, and Charlie takes an unfortunate death. He's just gonna cloud it, I don't blame him. Problem is, now he's gotta clear 2-2. I mean, rather quicksand with a boss bass. Charlie stays out of the quicksand and is through. And raikourider through as well. And we've got ourselves a hand level that both our runners went into. This will be an item for both. And it'll be the same item for all three. What's it gonna be? A mushroom. Better things to be found, but a power-up to starter level isn't necessarily a bad thing. Raiko got hit, goes for the power-up, gets a star instead. And we have got the shrimp. And it's gonna be 2 hits. 3 hits. The vanilla Koopaling fight, which is not a bad thing in this case, because those circus balls can get in the way. So what world we got next? 3 or 5? I think that retainer needs... now that's an anchor, so... Our remaining world order is 5 into 3, and then 8. And our next fort is Fort Knox. And our anchor's a music box. And this is one of the 2 stages where the power-ups aren't shuffled to some degree. In fact, this stage has vanilla power-ups all throughout because you have to fly. And that builds a bridge, so this might be an instant... Oh boy, that's 7-5. With a cheap, this could get... This is a stage that we generally don't want to see in this community because of how nasty it can get with its enemy placements. Charlie making some good dodges, Raiko getting a power-up. Unfortunately, Raiko losing the tail. Raiko's still a bit behind in this section, but... Oh, Charlieboy picked off by the cheap building the bridge. That is an unfortunate death. And without a cloud is going to have to play the level. Chooses a P-Wing. I believe he chose well out of his power-up options. But still, taking a death like that hurts. And sure, it's not a boss bass, but still, that little fish can be problematic as Charlieboy loses the P-Wing. As raikourider's almost out of 7-5. Raiko's through the pipe and out of the level. Charlie tries to clip. I can't blame him because this lower section can be a headache. As would you look again, 7F2 has found its way into a seed. That's like too many seeds in a row, I feel, for that have seen this level. Like, not, oh, Raiko takes a hit, and that's a death. In order for him to avoid this level, he would have to climb the tower and risk coming down. I don't think he wants to do that. Charlie's through 7-5. Raiko in his second attempt for 7F2. Both runners in 7F2 with Raiko taking care of the Tunnel of Love. I mean, it's a Tunnel of Tough Love. That first block spitting out a 1-up. That's just insult to injury, but that's good news there, so you don't game over. Charlie, on the other hand, dying. So both runners dying in 7F2. Charlie moving really quick through this stage. And that broke the lock, as the lock was down here. Interesting. Raiko, as a result, is now playing through a 2-3 with a boss bass. He's not going to be able to... Well, now he's going to be able to fly up to it. He barely took down boss bass there. What he's flying up for is this P-switch. As it's much easier to just fall through the blocks when they're coins than waiting on a Koopa shell, especially with boss bass coming at you. Charlie now in 2-2 as well, using P-speed strats, however. Ooh boy, this is nasty. And the Fire Bro dodges damage by jumping. It's just a music box. No, probably not what Raiko wanted there. And now we have a beta level where you gotta swim to the top. So Charlie's through the level, heads down the pipe. It's worth noting that the music box doesn't put the coin ships to sleep. They're still active, regardless. Ooh, no, now he has 6-6. Man, this World 5 has been a pretty gross one thus far. So far, Raiko's holding his own in this level. Here comes Charlieboy. I will say this about this level's enemy set. I have seen and played through some pretty nasty ones. Oh my goodness, raikourider just about got engulfed after all that. That would have been a very frustrating moment. Charlieboy better be on his toes coming out of this pipe, as the next level Raiko enters is 3-2. Charlie being patient with the Paracoopa. I don't blame him whatsoever. And Charlie plays it perfectly. So Charlie's now about a full 3-2 behind as Raiko's already through, heading to the airship. Meanwhile, Charlieboy takes an unfortunate death from the Cheep Cheep in 3-2. It's the World 4 airship as Raiko gets their Fire Flower back. And Roy is quaking. 2 hits. The bully's out to be a big bully today. For 4 hits, Charlieboy in a bad spot. Better get out of the water real fast, because those Cheep Cheeps will finish him off in that. And thankfully he does. Now Charlieboy can call this world done. Raikourider's now in 3F1 door 3 fort, or door 6 fort rather. I said door 3 because I was wondering if we were going to see a door 3, but not this time. And Charlie has finished off Roy while Raikourider's finished off a Boom Boom. So that's about a 1-minute difference between our runners as we enter the 7th world. And if my visual is correct, then that lock or bridge built elsewhere, because there's another lock on this screen. Raiko not going for the power-up. Bit of lag there. Well, when you have the angry sun there, I'm not surprised. That pipe led past the lock. Could this be it? Not quite, but it leads right to it. So while Raikourider is going through the World 7 airship, I figured it's worth I pose this question now. How many bridges will we see in the Valley of Bowser today? It'll be anywhere between 0 and 4. And we had 1 in the last race, so I'm going to stick with it and say 1. I mean, 4 would be amazing as Charlie takes a death in 3-7. And Wendy's being savage. If my math is right, that's either a 4 or a 5 hit Wendy Okupa. Elementary, my dear Mario. Get a frog suit as we enter World 8 with a required fort right there, so it's not going to be 4. It can be 3. And Charlie did pick up a Jugum's Cloud off that hammer, bro. And Raiko's demonstrating that that height is pixel perfect. And our runner is going to have 2... Well, can't say see that every day. Grab a power-up on that same frame, and then lose it go right back to small Mario. That might have been frame perfect for all I know. 'Cause I ain't ever seen that before. Charlie gets hit, takes a second hit on hit 3, and then gets denied! Savage! Meanwhile, Raiko's in ground fort 5F1. The pain about dying to Wendy in this airship is that it's a long airship, even without the auto-scroller. Seems like everything else is here. Now, this is 3-6. But because the tank is blocking 2 forts, gotta play it anyway, as Charlie is through Water World off to the Dark World. So that's about a 2.5-minute deficit, but no lead is safe when it comes to the Great Equalizer, which is what World 8 is often referenced as. And we got ourselves another Dark Door Maze sighting in World 8. This Charlieboy is going to lead off Darkland with 6F1. No! He comes up short on the jump. If he had gotten that star up there, he could have done a free spike run. That is a very unfortunate death. That just goes to show how tight of a jump that really is, because he was off by a pixel and plummeted. And as a result, we get near simultaneous Boom Boom KOs, Raikourider and Dark Door Maze, Charlieboy, and 6F1. Raiko's weighing is up. He's not going to Air Force. Interesting. Hand stage grabs him. It's 1-5. Now, in terms of level length, this is one you just clear straight up. And Raiko gets the bad news. If he's going to go that way, he is going to have to play Air Force. Charlie, I think, is on a different path? Question mark. So it's one bridge to build. Charlieboy's got to clear the right fort. Raiko has already cleared the correct fort, which I believe... I want to say he made the right call by not going to the Air Force stage. So Raiko is mere moments away from ending this series with a 2-0 sweep and moving on to the semifinal. Raiko gets the everyman clip. Now we're gonna see if he opts to clip to get to the end, or no, he goes right in the door. Gotta be careful doing this, because those lasers and fireballs are randomized. Meanwhile, I'll say this much. Hi, Bowser. Bye, Bowser. And with that, get your GGs in chat for raikourider. Who has taken this series 2-0 and wins with an official SRL time of 42 minutes, 23 seconds. Meanwhile, Charlie gets grabbed at hand stage and gets gulped. In the meantime, we're see if we can get Raiko in here for a post-race check. And Charlie's found the path and the correct fort. Gets frame ruled by the laser there. And doesn't jump off the donut block. And he's cleaned out his inventory. Takes the high road. With that, I am joined by raikourider, who has a 2-0 advance to the semifinals. GG.
Thanks.
Wow, that first game came stupidly close. Like, at one point, you were ahead by about 4 minutes, 7 seconds through 4 worlds. And then after that, Charlie, by virtue of playing extra Hammer Bros and getting an extra Cloud and Hammer, where he was eventually able to narrow the gap, and all of a sudden, you're both in Bowser's Castle at the same time.
I'll have to watch that one back. That's one thing that I was really scared of, is just not finding level skipping items, which is actually the biggest reason why I did the switch to bracket flags for Race 2.
That was a smart call. And we see Charlieboy taking the lower path.
I was thinking about taking lower path too, because the upper path with the random fireballs is much more difficult when you're trying to preserve a hammer suit.
Yeah, hammer suit kill on the lower path is proving to be a bit tough, as Charlie is having a bit of trouble getting the hits in. Gets hit by a fireball, unfortunately.
But overall, just the second race, I felt like I played really, really well. I think that was actually free of,
Oh no! Charlie goes down to Bowser!
I think my second race was actually free of, I think it was free of, unintentional deaths. I can't recall one.
The only one I can recall is you both took one in 7F2. I wasn't sure if that was accidental or on purpose, because, hey, 7F2, it's a terrible luck.
I'll have to go back. It was at least semi-intentional. I couldn't tell if 7F2 was required. It probably was.
Yeah, because both races had 7F2 in it, and the first one was 100% absolutely required.
This is I want to mention this for the record. This is the 5th Challenge Cup race in a row I've had that has had a required 7F2. Just saying.
Yeah, I'd like to see them deal with that in the main tournament without stars to speed them up, because some of the movement I see in that level, when the runners have stars, look out.
Oh, no kidding. But the first race, I just felt like I took way too many deaths, and I wasn't quite sure how I managed to pull that one off. But the second race, I felt like I was ahead from wire to wire.
The second race was really close. You and Charlieboy went back and forth for a bit until about the halfway point until I'd say around World 5, where Charlie took a death in 7-5. You got through first try, and you never looked back.
Oh, you know what else I'm really embarrassed about? I finished that 7-5, and then immediately after I finished it, I realized I had a cloud in my inventory, and then I had to calm down. And was just like... Yeah.
It happens to all of us. But I will say this for World 8, and I'm going to save it for when Charlie gets in here, is that routing that was the deciding factors. Charlie has finished off Bowser Koopa. Get your GGs in chat. As he finishes with an official SRL time of 48.9.
Yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely.
But really, I just felt so much better about the second race on execution alone.
And we are now joined by Charlieboy. GG. That was well played on both races.
Yeah, GG.
Good stuff.
Yeah, GG's for sure. To Raikou for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So that first race, Charlie, you almost pulled it all the way back from down about 4 or so minutes halfway through. The main determining factor was that you went through the dark maze when you had the right path. Raikou found a faster path that was on the hand bridge, and that is what led him to Bowser Castle first.
Cool.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So honestly, that was a race that could have gone either way. It was that close at the end of the day.
I was going to mention the World 8. When I saw the hand bridge and I saw literally the rest of the fortresses in the entire world accounted for, I'm like, I'm going to keep playing these fortresses until either I clear them all, or I see that there's one fort left on the hand bridge and that the lock to that bridge is on top. And I just gambled that pipe was not required, and it wound up being not required, so I wound up skipping a lot of World 8. Just by virtue of understanding how the fort and lock route, the fort and the lock routing and logic works. And that's one of those World 8s where I felt like if it was a hammerlock, which I'm a big fan of hammerlock in general, just not in this kind of a setting. Just because it can leave a lot up to variance, especially in World 8. Because most of the time you'll have to do a pretty thorough clear of World 8 when you can't use hammers. But one person having a hammer can skip the entire World 8.
Yeah, that's just crazy, really, with how that routing can go. Now to take it on to race 2, through 5 worlds, this race was really close, and then it all fell apart at 7-5.
Yeah, that 7-5 was really nasty with the fish. the small fish, with the with all the Paragoombas towards the end, that made it really difficult. But there are a couple of other oddities. Did you see what happened when I picked up that power-up in 6F1?
Yes, I did. What in God's name caused that? You get the power-up jingle, but you hear the shrink jingle, and what happens is you just shrink right down. Like, I swear I've never seen that before.
That's caused by getting hit as well as getting a power-up at the exact same time.
Yep, so frame imperfect.
That frame imperfect is one way to put it. There was also that boss bass at the end of 6-6. That was a jump scare if I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness! I reacted like it was a jump scare.
I thought I was dead.
Yeah, that would have been awful.
Because if I had missed on that 6-6, I would have either skipped it or played a different level. But I was a little bit low on power-ups at the time, so I felt that it wasn't worth exiting the level and spending an inventory item to try to go a little bit faster. But yeah, good stuff. Let me go ahead and see who I have. Looks like I have the winner of Zodiac Dread, and I did not even realize Prior 57 is in this tournament. We actually know each other from the SMZ3 community.
Well, that would be it. That would be in it. Actually, both matchups would be interesting. So I will ask you this, Raiko. Who would you rather face? Who would give you the biggest headache?
I would rather face Prior 57, not because of the seed number, but just because we know each other from a different community. But Zodiac would be like Zodiac beat Dave Lindo to get her, who is an up and coming runner that I actually thought was gonna make it a little bit farther, because he's put on some crazy performances. But then you also have Zodiac, which would be a 2-3 match. And considering that our number one is gone.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that number one is out of both. Leave it at that for now, because that has to do with the main tournament. But yeah, we got some interesting matchups coming up, as for the other semifinal, Johnny Link is awaiting the winner of Europsolus versus JetAb, who wound up playing. JetAb and myself played the absolute worst Bowser's Castle in recent memory. So,
oh my,
yeah, it was bad.
But yeah, good stuff. I'm looking forward to next week. It should be really fun.
That am I. And as for you, Charlieboy, I honestly think you put on one heck of a run and a heck of a performance that just came up just a little short. I would love to see you continuing to race this rando, because you have a lot of skill in this game.
Thanks. Yeah, maybe next year if it goes on, I'll join again. We'll see what's happening.
And I'll jump in on this every year.
Yeah, you and me both.
Especially if we can convince Fred to get shapes.
So for those who don't know, Zelda 1 Rando uses a shapes logic for its dungeons. What Raiko is referencing is a similar logic that utilizes shapes to create random world maps. Now, if that were to happen, that would be real interesting, yet real scary at the same time.
Oh, it'd be a whole nother ball game. But in any case, thanks to Trenton for putting this on. Thanks for doing comms. I can't wait to see what next week brings.
Absolutely.
And I actually can't be up too much later because I have an SM Rat match at 11 in the morning tomorrow.
Understandable. Good luck with that, and GG's to both you and Charlie. In fact, go on ahead, folks, and give our runners a follow. They were definitely the stars of this matchup, because if it was just me, myself, and I'd be going off on a tangent. Going off on a tangent by myself, it's not nearly as fun as commentating this, believe me on that.
All right, good stuff. Thanks again.
All right, my pleasure, Raiko. GG's, Charlie Boy. Look forward to seeing more of you in the future. And also, you can also drop myself a follow if you feel so inclined. So, that being said, some scheduling.
Yep, GG's, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Thanks for putting on the tournament. See y'all next time.
Yep, see you next time. And going on right now, take your pick on the other Speed Gaming channels 1, 2, 3, and 5, as there's something going on each one. 2 has a randomizer match from the main tournament. Speed Gaming main has a combomizer matchup. 3, Chrysalis randomizer, while 5 has Metroid Prime 2 rando, so you definitely have your pick for the end of the evening. But speaking of end of the evening, that brings us to the end of our evening, and the first thing on the schedule tomorrow is Mega Man 9 at 9 a.m. So, that being said, for everybody behind the scenes of Speed Gaming, our 2 runners, Charlieboy, raikourider, Leslie Pro. Everybody here, have a good night. Watch out for Boss Bass. Take life one day at a time. Stay safe. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.